Soul Calibur wasn't just another 3D fighter, it was a genre-defining one that set itself apart from the rest, with its weapon-based fights that rule living rooms and competitive stages. But how did a great franchise so rich and beautiful fade away from consoles? With a lot of stories, it tends to be like something very devastating, like sales buckling down, or maybe some disagreements internally or something like that. But for Soul Calibur 6, that literally was just due to poor online, and in a year that they needed it the most, which was 2020, which I don't need to explain. Because of its poor netcode, it just couldn't keep up with what the year entailed for them, and sadly it was just kind of left to fade away too. And it didn't really make it better that in 2021 the producer of Soul Calibur 6 left for no real actual explanation, and since then Bandai hasn't really done anything with the franchise. It's just kind of been left there. Of course, we've got new Tekken games, but that's Tekken. Of course it's going to get new games, it's naturally successful in a lot of ways. But Soul Calibur, well, it couldn't really fulfill its duty by giving good online, so therefore it was just kind of left there. And because the producer left, well, it was kind of just left alone, left to think. And I don't really understand this decision making behind Bandai and just leaving it there to literally die. I just don't understand, because it is practically dead. It hasn't really gotten the game since 2018, and that's how long it's been since we got in the last Soul Calibur game. Now, Harada, Tekken's producer, have enlightened us about the state of Soul Calibur, saying that the fire of Project Soul has not been extinguished, and the people within the company still have the will to produce another game. Then why hasn't another game actually blessed us? Something I failed to actually mention was that the obviously team for Soul Calibur, or Project Soul, has actually been dissolved for quite a bit since Soul Calibur 5, and obviously Soul Calibur 6 was mainly done by, I think, the Tekken team back then. And of course, because of how Tekken is still thriving and, still boosting up sales and just doing well in general, is why obviously we probably haven't gotten a new Soul Calibur. That, and also I think because, well, how are you going to innovate Soul Calibur? You gotta think, they've kind of already given us like customization characters and all that stuff and other things like that. I guess all they can really do is probably drop more skins and stuff like that, make you grind for skins, give you a battle pass. I'm not really innovating, that's just being greedy. But generally, because it's not really your traditional fighting game, like, again, it's not Street Fighter, it's not Fatal Fury, it's not Tekken, where it's more of like hand-to-hand combat. And I know Tekken is actually still quite different, in the sense that it's obviously a 3D fighter, just like Soul Calibur. But the thing is, none of them actually use weapons too tough. There may be like 1 or 2 characters that have weapons, but primarily it's just hand-to-hand combat. Whereas Soul Calibur, well, that basically is like a dance. A dance that have you predicting your opponent's next move and unleashing a devastating attack. But remember, timing and spacing in this game is very important compared to most fighters, which of course you obviously get punished, but in this case, well, it's not like you could just quickly run up on them. They might hit you with a long lance, a sword, or something else entirely. That right there is the appeal of Soul Calibur, and I think it's why a lot of people, even though they're happy with other fighting games, they still want that weapon-based fighter to really thrive and come back again. And I know I'm not alone on this, as many other people have expressed their concerns online and overall their opinions and takes on what a next Soul Calibur should do. This game provides you with so much of a beautiful cast that is still remembered today. I mean, everyone knows Mitsurugi, Ivy, Nightmare, Raphael, Killick, and a lot of other characters. I can go on and on about its roster because it has a lot of beautiful characters in this game that all are very unique and diverse, compared to, I don't know, other fighting games that have a lot of commonalities, but in this game it's not so much. It's not just the characters, it's also the stages that you traverse in the game. Some of them are just so good, and the music too are just amazing. Honestly, this game is endless when it comes to beautiful stages and maps and just overall its OST. I think honestly this is something that also accompanies the soul of Soul Calibur. If that sounds a little corny, I know. There's so much about this game that is just so amazing, and it's just truly a waste to have it just sit there to pick up dust. Hopefully Bandai at some point actually does pick up this game again and actually, make Soul Calibur flourish, because honestly you really need this game to live on in these sort of times where there's not a whole lot of 3D fighters. The most I can really say and recommend is games like Tekken and some enemy fighters, which, well, they're not really traditional fighters, and a lot of people just want more of a grounded experience that just light probably with its combat, but yet fun and engaging, and that's what Soul Calibur is very, very great at. Again, I can't express it enough that this game is just really amazing and just overall beautiful. Hopefully, again, Bandai can actually acknowledge this game, which it kind of has, because, well, if you got PlayStation and stuff like that, they've obviously recently dropped Soul Calibur 3 for their, I think, online subscription, which is a little bit of acknowledgement, I guess, because obviously not only that, earlier this year we also got Soul Calibur 2 for NSO, and that was honestly a very shocking, surprise that very much, was appreciated by a lot of people, and it was the GameCube version too, which is obviously the best one because it had Link. They haven't completely disowned the franchise itself, but again, I think they're just stuck to what to do, and I've already told you that it's very different to obviously, I guess, improve or innovate with Soul Calibur than it is with Street Fighter or something like that along those lines. But again, I think another thing is, well, I think it would have been a great time for this game to come out already. Only reason why is because Soul Calibur 2 actually benefited from Tekken's, I guess, bumpy road that it was going for when it came to Tekken 4, and how a lot of people wasn't really feeling it. So again, a lot of people kind of went from Tekken 4 to Soul Calibur 2, and I think something like that might help its boost of sales and its overall popularity in this day and age. I don't know, maybe it's just kind of treading on old ground, but again, I just thought maybe an idea like that might help when it comes to Soul Calibur. Again, I think it should act as a game that has a strong difference from Tekken, and a place where people can kind of go to both when they're ready. I have some ideas myself on what Soul Calibur can do to actually innovate, but I say that for another video. If you guys did enjoy this video, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more Soul Calibur videos, as I still do plan to obviously do more arcade endings for Soul Calibur 2. I'll see you all next time. Have a lovely day and peace out, guys.